Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk about conversational interviewing and how, as a qualitative tool, it can help you elicit different kind of information from your audiences. So this week we're going to cover the topics of how to elaborate on a specific protocol for a research purpose. And in this particular manner, you have to be able to ensure this data is going to collect all you need towards your research questions. So if you check on your classroom, you will see an assignment of elaborating a protocol, which implies unifying all the questions that a qualitative protocol has according to the guide that also this week's assignments have, and as well an example and some videos about citizen science. So let's go ahead. So thinking about, for example, qualitative research, you must think always to this kind of method as an opportunity to elicit the whys and the hows rather than the how much. So in a specific manner, when you develop a qualitative protocol, taking considerations that you have to think about different situations of how to navigate in a comfortable way for your interviewee as it's a conversation. It's not like when you take somebody to the police and you want to know where they were, why they were doing, like what they want to talk about or not, or things like that. So for example, you might be able to talk about, for example, how to build rapport with your audience. Several examples about rapport is asking them, for example, where do you want to be interviewed? Where is more comfortable for you? So the appropriate protocol says that you should go as a researcher when where the interviewee feels more comfortable. It's not okay saying, hey, come to the university, to my lab to talk about these things, because first, accessibility, second, the time of the person. So you should be able to go with your interviewees, or also if your interviewee prefers to be interviewed, for example, through Zoom or any other platform, that would be equivalent as well. If they say something like, can you come over to this community activity, I don't know, like a farmer's market or a community center to observe, and while I do these things or work, I will be responding to your questions. That will be fine. However, you will have to record all what happens in that moment, either when in video or in a specific methodology such as audio or so. So think about open-ended questions. This is the key for developing an interview guide, not questions of yes or no or how and why. These are more focused towards thinking about a long haul response. So this is rather like, hey, do you want to participate? Yes or no, rather than, hey, I'm working about this project. What do you think about this topic? Like, have you experienced any kind of abuse in your workplace? And they could say something like, yes, right? That would be a closed question, but an open-ended question in the same manner, for example, would be, you told us that you have experienced different kinds of workplace abuse or violence. What specific phenomenon can you tell us in the broader terms that happened to you? Can be, and so it would leave the door open for them to say, hey, I've been experiencing, I don't know, political violence, or sometimes being approached by my boss outside the workplace, or sending me message outside of my work hours, or things like that. And then you will build up. So say like, how that make you feel? So they will say something like, I felt invaded, I feel disrespected because they have 8 hours of my day to talk about anything, and they keep asking me after hours all these things. So the purpose of these questions is, what do you think? What do you feel? How that happened? Think about questions that are open-based. Also, you have a video in this assignment that will be really easy for you to see how they're sitting down. So for example, if you're doing a focus group, also making interviews as a conversation will be better. In this case, try always, doesn't matter if you are like doing an individual in-depth interview or if you're doing a focus group, take something to share with your interviewee, like a token of appreciation. Could be food, a coffee, some tea, cookies, something that's not too compromising, like an expensive gift or something that they will be biased towards saying yes to everything you say, because that will be affecting also the accuracy of the responses they will provide to you. So in this specific point, we have different type of questions that you might have to consider in terms of how you want to approach your audience. So thinking about the interview guide, you might think always how to pose these questions and ethical considerations in a manner that can people be explored. So example questions could be, can you walk me through this experience? How this happened? Can you tell us more about this? So for example, say like, well, I got hired by this company, and by the third month when I start working with this person, they start acting this way, and then you let them evolve. So a good question is or a good questioner is the one that makes the interviewee talk more than you. Your rapport and your physical language should be putting all the attention you have on them. Like do not text on your phone at the same time you're interviewing the person. Try to make eye contact. Try to avoid any gestures that can be yielding something like surprise or something like rejection. Rather, try to be embracing and listening actively to their, like, you can assent with your head like this, or like, hey, I consider that, like, yeah, that I haven't considered that. Can you elaborate more? If they give you short answers, you can also give them prompts such as, do you mean this type of contact can be abusive, or this other type of contact? So try to navigate as the responses emerge. So a good interview guide for conversational interviewing will have top 10 questions, but these questions have to be thought about well through in a way that you can really explore the knowledge of the person, but also let them evolve and let them be the protagonist of the interview. It's not okay to think about them as a part of just informing your audience. It's just about how can elaborate those questions, ideas in a matter of time. So an open conversational interview, if it's an adult, it's okay to take an hour, up to 2 hours, not more. And for a person like a children or somebody underage, you can take up to tops 45 minutes because their attention span is shorter than an adult. Always try to have it in a calm place, that there's no noise or distractions around, that the person, it could be like a room or like a coffee shop or like a room in a coffee shop. They can just talk about anything they want, and also be able to disclose that you're not going to link the identity of the participants to the responses. So that would be the concept, the advice, and also some considerations to doing this work in a manner that's approachable, that's ethical, and observe the following videos to have more questions about this in our further class session. Thank you so much.